it's really hard right now to not envision the Rams going back to the Super Bowl.
As a Packer fan, as a fellow NFC team, it's scary. It's scary hours. We shift onto the news that actually occurred today that we're recording it. Bobby Wagner finally has made a decision. He's going to the LA Rams. As a Dallas fan, you put up the post. I already saw your comment on our Instagram, and I already knew that you probably felt disappointed. I mean, I'm sure LA Charger fans are disappointed too. They might should be more upset too, because like, why not us? We're in LA too. But nonetheless, somehow, some way, the LA Rams, I don't know, scrounged enough pennies in their pocketbook, and they managed to not only bring him in, they brought him on a pretty sizable deal. Wagner signed a 5-year, $50 million deal worth up to $65 million in bonuses. So I'm not 100% sure because the wording's weird. I'm not sure if that's $50 million guaranteed or what, but nonetheless, it's a pretty sizable deal. And I know we were both shocked by that. But anyways, John, I mean, I'm guessing obviously as a Dallas fan, you hate the signing, but I'm going to assume that this makes the Rams scarier in your mind.
Yeah. Obviously when the initial rumors came out that Bobby might go to Dallas, I got real excited, especially with Randy Gregory leaving. It sort of makes sense. You get Bobby, he can play linebacker. That frees up Micah to rush the passer more. And it just felt like a match made in heaven. Then all of a sudden reports come out that Bobby was looking for like a 1-year, $11 million deal. He was in that range. And I knew Dallas wasn't going to do it. Dallas is just so stingy in free agency, so I knew they wouldn't do it. Stephen Jones even came out at some point and said that they were out on the market. But I was a bit surprised, first off, that the Rams had the money to be able to get him. As we've been informed by one of our friends, they did some finagling with Matthew Stafford's contract at the first couple of years that it allows them to get more cap space. And I applaud the Rams. I mean, their GM, whatever he's doing over there with, freeing up cap space and allowing all these contracts to work. I mean, they're the definition of going all in. I can't think of another team that has gone more all in than the Rams in recent history, to where they've traded draft picks. They went out and they got, Jalen Ramsey. There was those rumors for a while they were going to trade and get Khalil Mack too. They got Von Miller. Now they got Bobby Wagner. They got Allen Robinson. Like they're loading up on talent because they know their championship window and they're going to capitalize on it. So I applaud the move. Do you know how old Bobby is? I think he's like 31, 32.
Let's see if it says. By the way, that was per Sports Illustrated, so we don't get.
Okay. So I would be interested to know if maybe his contract is sort of front loaded, because 5 years did feel a little long. I was honestly more expecting him to get like a 1, 2, maybe 3-year deal with any team that he signed, just because of his age. But good on Bobby for securing that long-term deal with all those incentives.
31 years old.
31. Okay, I mean
scary, though, for a linebacker, he's already starting to decline. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's not as bad as I thought it was. I thought he was actually going to be 32. So 31. I mean, but yeah, the point's still there that like 5 years from now he's going to be 36. I wouldn't be shocked though with once again the way this Rams general manager has sort of orchestrated these contracts, if he front loads a lot of it, and maybe at the back end there's some flexibility after 3, maybe even 2 years. Anyway, so I love the move for the Rams. I hate it for the rest of the NFC. It's really hard right now to not envision the Rams going back to the Super Bowl. Honestly, I know it's way too early. We haven't even seen the draft yet, but yeah, they're looking like a deadly team.
They're not even going to be drafting. So like, this is basically the team that we're seeing right now is the team. So
right,
it's good. It's a good point.
And I know that some people have started talking. Well, does this make them better than when they had Von and Miller? Personally, I think it does, because you still got Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd on the defensive line, rushing the passer. And now imagine their run defense with Bobby Wagner up the middle, being able to fill whatever gaps Aaron Donald is, allowing the offensive line to create. And then on the back end, you still got Jalen Ramsey against the pass. Like Bobby, he's a good blitzer too. He's good in pass coverage as well. So I mean, the Rams, they're just looking scarier and scarier as the days go on.
Yeah, I mean, you really hit that point. For at least last year, it's like, okay, we know they have a good D line with, they had Vaughn then. We know Jalen's really good. At least the linebackers are okay. Like, at least maybe we can expose that part of the field. And even though, like I just mentioned, like Bobby's kind of been on the decline in recent years, he's still really good. And it's, as a Packer fan, as a fellow NFC team, it's scary. It's scary hours there. And honestly, I'm not sure if they have any more money left on the payroll. It wouldn't shock me if they somehow get like a Justin. I'm not saying like Justin Houston's amazing, like a Justin Houston for cheap. Like, hey Justin, you want to try and win a ring?
Right.
Come sign a 1-year deal. Or I'm not sure. I'm blanking on the other pass rushers available right now in free agency.
Clowney's still out there.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
he wants to
Clowney.
win a
Yeah,
ring.
like Clowney. Like, hey, Clowney, we know you're a super freak. You want to come over here, and you don't have to play every game since we're probably going to win most of them. So you
And
can
like
stay healthy.
rebuild your value because you
Yeah.
play next to Aaron Donald.
Yeah, and then you have Leonard Floyd on the other side too. So, and yeah, you have Bobby Wagner too. So it's just, yeah, it's, you mentioned it. You put it perfectly. Credit their GM or the front office for finding a way to make more money available, and really, I mean, in a sense, they're actually being pretty smart. They're investing in known commodities instead of, because the draft kind of is just like a lottery ticket. You kind of know what the guy can be, but at the end of the day, until you get him in the facility, on the football field, and playing in the NFL, you really don't know. As opposed to most of these guys, they're like, okay, we know what Bobby Wagner is. We've seen him play 40 some odd games in the NFL, 40 plus some odd game. We know what he is, even if he starts declining. So obviously, love the move for the Rams, and we'll see. Only concern could be depth. I know they lost. I think they lose Darius Williams, I think, in free agency. I think they did.
They did. They did.
So, especially with draft picks, but they've been able to hit on late round draft picks. So we'll see if they can continue to do so. Maybe hit on a few late round picks enough so that those guys are viable and have solid depth. So we'll see what happens with them. But yeah, huge signing for the LA Rams. Obviously, LA Charger fans, I would be upset.